RH Modern actually stands for Restoration Hardware. I guess it's from the Eastern countries furniture. Anyway, on the cover, it has a couple of beach ball style round pillows. So I'm going to show you quickly how to make one of those things. So first of all, we have to decide how many pieces. So if you're looking from the top, I guess we'll do 8 pieces. So we want this to be approximately 13 inches high. And if you do the math, what we're trying to do is find the circumference. I guess if you look at it this way too, it would be, the stripes will go that way, right? So we want to know what the distance is around there. So it's 13 times 3.14, which is pi. So let's do the math. 13 times 3.14 equals 40.82. Okay, well, let's forget the 40.82, and we're going to round that off to 40. So if you go 40 divided by 3.14, that equals 12.73. So approximately 12 3/4 inches. That's what the height is, not 13. Okay, so we're going to do 12 3/4. It's an easier number to work with because 40 divided by 8 pieces, 8 equals 5, obviously, right? So each section from here to here, from here to here is 5 inches. And half of it, which is that, would be 40 divided by 2, which is 20. So it's 20 inches high and 5 inches wide. So I'm going to show you how to make the arc. So if we look here, we're just going to draw a line like this, and we're going to draw it 5 inches wide from, this will be the center. There's the center horizontal, and it's going to be exactly 20 inches high. And then we're going to draw a curve here and here to give us our segment. So I'll show you that over here. There's the height of the ball, and that's the width of the one segment. There's 8 segments in all, so the height is 20 inches, the width is 5. So what you do is we're just going to mark this corner here. We're going to mark that A, and we're going to mark this one B. So the idea here is you're going to draw an arc. So you can use a compass. I guess you measure from A to B, and then you draw an arc. So we can do that here, like that, and then you basically set it on B, and you scribe your line, and you get 2 little crosshairs there. And then after that, you just take a pencil, you line up your crosshair like so, line it up here, and you just draw a straight line over to basically this x-axis, and where they intersect, you're going to draw an arc. And the arc, like so, we'll call this, I guess, C. If you don't have a compass, you can always use a backpack strip, punch a hole, or use a pin, put a pinhole there. And I've preset this just to do it quickly. So basically, you're going to measure from C to B, like so, and I'm just going to draw this like so. And oops, I just slipped off. So there's your arc, and it intersects the centers. And keeping the measurement the same, you're going to measure from this line, which is D, that corner, and you measure that distance out. set your pin. I guess you guys are getting the idea already, but basically it's going to draw the arc this way. So if you want your seam allowance, I guess, you know, your seam allowance could be a 1/2 inch. You can just back off the pin about a 1/2 inch, like so, and just scrap that in. Trying to move quickly here for you guys. And obviously you just, it does the seam allowance for you, and of course you reverse it this way, right? So this would give you a curve like that. In a lot of cases when you're doing egg segments, it's hard to get 8 pieces of fabric on the top of the ball sewn together perfectly and everything else. So if you look at a beach ball, beach balls have a circle sewn to the top. So if you're going to do like if you're going to do that, it would be, the top of the ball would look like this, right? So you have a circle and you would have 8 segments sewn to the circle. So each joint would have 1, 2, 3 pieces sewn to it instead of 8 coming to a, you know, doing this is going to be difficult. So putting a circle in is easy. Just basically, you can measure straight down 2 inches like that, and then use a compass again and just draw an arc and move it in a 1/2 inch. That'll give you your allowance, your seam allowance, right? So you cut that, and this measurement from here, this curved measurement, it actually equals exactly the same as the circle, which would be, you know, if it's 2 inches down, it's going to be 2 plus the opposite side is 2 plus 2 plus your 1.5 inch seam allowance. So you're going to cut a circle 5 inches, right? So that'll give you the notches, and of course the space around here would equal to that exactly. And if you want to make sure, you can actually measure this with a ruler, and you can do 4 times 3.14, which is, I don't know, 12.84 or something. I don't know what it is. So that's a quick way. If you're sewing this together, you know, one segment, you're just going to leave a 4-inch section open. I'll show you how to make a casing for this in a second, but that's your ball basically. And when you cut it out, I'm just going to pan it over here. So I'm going to show you on this. There's a piece of fabric right there. Once you have a pattern cut out like that, it's got the seam allowance in, we could do the arc and things like that. But I just want to show you something, that the measurement from here to the bottom, finished size, is actually 20, right? And that's part of the ball. The vertical stitch, or it's not the stitch line, but it's in the center. The line here is supposed to be the same, but this line is actually 20 3/4 inches. So it's 3/4 of an inch longer than this. So if you're cutting your segments, you need 8 of them. So if you cut it this way, like vertical or horizontal, whichever you choose, the problem with that is that the vertical has no stretch and the horizontal has no stretch. So because that's 20 and this is 20 3/4, this is the seam allowance, but this is supposed to be the same amount, right? But it's impossible, obviously. The more pieces, the better off it is to fit. But what I recommend is actually putting this on a 45. And the reason I do, if you can, you don't have to, but a lot of fabrics you can do this. So the idea is that the 20 inches is actually going to stretch quite easily to 3/4 of an inch, which will equal this. I mean, this will stretch too, but when you do it on the 45, it has a lot of give, and it actually makes a more spherical shaped ball. And you don't get the wrinkles like you would if you cut it this way. You would get wrinkles and pucker marks on the side here. So that's my tip for cutting.